Greetings and welcome back to another episode of 5 Play Friday. Great to see everybody today. Super excited to be here. Sorry about a little tech glitch to start. I had to switch the stream. My software wasn't behaving, but we're moving forward. We've got it. We've got Alfred Kennedy in the house. W. Awesome. Excellent. Great to see everybody on board. Yeah, Les, you are right. I am not sure either, but we're moving forward. Jason Hayes in the house. Show supporter, Chris W. in the house. Alfred Kennedy, tremendous. Looking forward to a great show today. If you are new to the live stream, if you are watching on replay, right, jump into the chat, jump into the conversation below. Put your voice in the game. Use the hashtag #ReplayCrew. Let us know where you're coming from and where you're officiating from. All right, fantastic. Okay, we are in the mix. Coffee in hand, needed. As Jim Kane pointed out in Wednesday's live stream, Greg seemed to need a cup of coffee. And it was true. It was true. All right. So we're excited. We're ending free throw week here at A Better Official. We've had our masterclass Monday. We've had our basketball rules expert on Wednesday. Threw me for a bit of a loop. A lot of words on the page made it difficult in that format. But we got through the plays. The edited video will be excellent. So this week we've had two live streams. The masterclass was absolute sausage making. It was, out of sequence, etc. But the edited video, I think, came out great. I think we're going to have the same situation with the basketball rules expert episode we recorded on Wednesday as well. So really excited about that. Now, other things. We're really excited about what we're going to be doing on the tech front. I've been nursing my old MacBook through this process of live streaming. It is not necessarily a MacBook that's made for live streaming, but we've got exciting technology stuff that's going to be introduced next week. Going to really open up a lot of doors, and I'm super excited about that. We'll be able to do more ad hoc work. It doesn't have to be programmed in advance. We'll be able to do interviews, right? So something I'm thinking about is we're going to have a situation where we can analyze game video, right? I'm in San Francisco Bay Area. I'm talking to somebody who's in Florida looking at their game video. I'm talking to a basketball official from another part of the country. We're doing a straight up interview. We can do creative things in that environment. We can get two other officials on. We're going to have a sample pregame, and what we would talk about, how we would talk about, etc. So all of those doors will be opened soon with new technology, and I'm really excited about that. I do appreciate the live streaming software. Ecamm Live on a Mac allows us to create a program, right? An online live program. And again, we're super excited about helping people improve their technology at the local level for Zoom calls, etc. This is one option to do that, and we're really excited about it. All right, let's see who's in the house. Martin from the Philippines has made I don't know what time it is, Martin. Let me know. What time is it in the Philippines? Lou Lofton, Tidewater, Virginia. Virginia is really stepping up in terms of attendance on these live streams. Michigan is strong, Indiana is strong, and Virginia is strong. Billy Mack joining from that small little corner of Connecticut. And Virginia State Commonwealth Games starting today with limited... Okay, tell me about those state Commonwealth Games. What are we talking about? Sort of a showcase AAU setting, high-level basketball? Let me know. 10 p.m., that's not so bad. Not so bad. I'll put you to sleep. Appreciate you joining. Ed Terrell. I'm going with Terrell. Could be Terrell. I'm going with Terrell. Ed Terrell from Indiana. Of course, Alfred from Michigan in the house. Great to see everybody. Mike Goodwin, bright and early from Alaska. Okay, excellent. Good to see you, Mike. Awesome. Okay, so today we're going to look at plays. So it was so interesting, the Wednesday basketball rules expert, so much text on the screen, difficult to sort of remember the results of the play scenario, very complicated. And it's difficult to then talk about it afterward and remember, well, did the ball go in, did the ball not go in, etc. The video clips, right? When we did our correctable error, the video clips were very long because they had to be, because correctable errors occur over a period of time. These free throw video clips are very short, right? It's a 5-second clip, a 10-second clip, and all the information is right there and easy to behold. So hopefully we get a lot of value out of looking at plays today. Super excited about that. Mike Connors from Tampa and Fred Thompson from Florida as well. Florida staking a claim to most attended, from which most state, something like that. All right. Cool biz. Let's get down and look at plays. But before we do, of course, let's go with the rundown of our live schedule. Every Wednesday, basketball rules expert, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern, where we look at play scenarios, break plays down, National Federation of High School rules, lift them off the printed page, breathe life, simplify, clarify, amplify, so that we can take them with us onto the basketball court and clarify. Every Friday, every Friday, 5 Play Friday Live, where we look at game video, analyze plays. Was it adjudicated properly? Were the officials in the correct position? Did the correct official make the call? All of the things, it all comes together on 5 Play Friday. And then occasionally on Masterclass Mondays, every other week, on a Monday, we will focus on a specific topic, explore it in depth, and that will usually initiate a week on that topic. So we can cover it from A to Z with a Masterclass Monday, followed by a basketball rules expert, followed by a 5 Play Friday. I'm going to jump that. Right. If you're new to the show, jump in the chat. Let us know your name, where you're from, so that I'd be pleased to meet you. If you're new to me, my name is Greg Austin with thebetterofficial.com. We craft video and do live streams to help basketball officials get better and take control of their officiating career. And of course, if you are here, have a comment on a play, an opinion, put your voice in the game, jump in the conversation so we can all get better together. Okay, all right. Whew. Navigating through. Awesome. Right back at you, Zucchi. That must mean there's been a Zucchi sighting. Indeed. Shout out to Mike. Jumping in early. There's the Zooch. Excellent. All right. Excellent. This sounds like where you want to be working. Commonwealth game travel teams from around the state come for a once-a-year weekend tournament at Liberty University. Perfect. Right. So we're going to get potentially a high level of play, great environment to work. Maybe this also sounds like a situation that may be an officiating camp adjacent to that sometimes as well. But that sounds like a lot of fun to me. Brandon Mason, the legend. Brandon Mason is in the house. Dancing Ref, as he's known on Twitter. Brandon is the ref most responsible for making me burst out laughing on the basketball court. Tremendous with the student athletes, a lot of fun to work with, and a tremendous official. Paul Clay is in the house. The Bay Area is well represented. Coming from behind, here comes the Bay Area. Excellent. All right. The Show Me State. The Zooch from Missouri. Let's show him something. Okay, let's look at plays. All right. Awesome. If you're new to the channel, now would be a great time to hit like, subscribe, notify, and share the video. Stream with, if you have a chance right now to share the stream on a Facebook page, on Twitter, whatever your socials are, we can get more people into the conversation and have fun. So think about doing that. And we are poised and ready to get this show started. I really appreciate everybody joining. It sounds like we're well attended. We got 18 live. Excellent. Perfect. I'll take that. Okay. All right. And let's do this. Give me just a second. Right. It's free throw week. 5 plays. Stick around. Got that. Greetings and welcome back for another episode of 5 Play Friday, the show where we look at plays, look to get better, take positives, negative, analyze the plays for what they are, were they adjudicated correctly using National Federation of High School Basketball rules, did the correct official make the call, were they in the proper position, etc. Greetings everybody, my name is Greg Austin with abetterofficial.com. Give me just a sec. Okay. If you're new to the channel, be a great time to hit like, subscribe, and notify if you find value in content like this. Take a moment to share the video as well with other basketball officials so that we can all get better together. As always, have to start the show with a shout out to our show supporters. Yvette Perry, Jim Kane, Chris Williams, Jeff Jewett, and Jason Hayes. Much appreciated and much love. There's always a chance to head over to abetterofficial.coffee. There'll be a note in the show notes below. All right, today we are looking at... Something's missing there. Hold on. Oh well. Today we are... Right. Today we are looking at free throw scenarios. It's free throw week here at A Better Official. On Monday, we had a masterclass focusing on the topic. There'll be a link above to a playlist that includes all 3 of these videos. So we have the masterclass. On Wednesday, we had Basketball Rules Expert, where we looked at play scenarios using National Federation of High School rules, see where the plays adjudicated correctly. And then today we have our 5 Play Friday, where we're going to look at free throw plays. There's a link above. You can check out those videos as well. Okay, all right. So this is where we do that thing. All right. We'll fix it in post, baby. We'll fix it in post. All right, before we get jumping, yes, we are working towards that villa in Tuscany. We're also working for better technology here in the Better Official studios so that we can produce higher quality content more easily, etc. But that Tuscany villa sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Cool. Awesome. Okay. So it's free throw week. Let's look at our very first play. Oh, I see. All right, a simple play scenario. We start with something super easy, right? Ball is at the disposal of the thrower. The special rules restrictions that apply only during the restarts, our 3 restarts, of course, are free throws, throw-ins, jump ball. Special rules and restrictions, they start when the ball becomes live. Violation by an opponent of the thrower. The official, the trail official, who's responsible for that player, correctly rules a delayed free throw violation. Very straightforward. And the try misses. We will then administer a substitute free throw to replace that free throw since the violation occurred. Had the ball gone in, we would just continue as normal. Easy peasy, straightforward. For Billy Mack, it was easy peasy lemon squeezy. But a really straightforward play. Nothing remarkable, just the basics, right? Gives us a chance to also to review. We have responsibilities in a 2-person situation, this is 2-person, or in 3-person, responsibility for coverage, which officials we're officiating. It would be easy for the lead on this play to also have this delayed violation because it's going to be clearly in their vision. But if we just allow the system to work and work properly, good things happen. Correct call by the officials. Not a big deal. Now, let's of course think about, well, what if the free thrower shot an air ball and violated? Then by rule, we would have a simultaneous violation. The free throw would be canceled, but is it possible that the thrower was distracted by that player who stumbled in their peripheral vision? Absolutely. So we need to think about disconcertion or distraction, in which case, even if there was a violation by the thrower, we would have a substitute free throw given on the play. Let's do this. So our first play scenario, our first video, simple, straightforward, nothing there, just a review of the basics and a delayed violation signal and a substitute free throw being awarded. Straightforward, easy. The player in mark space 3 to the left of the thrower violated. Stepped in, then sort of stumbled, trying to protect, try to fall in further. We have a dispute. If the lead was by the player to the left side of the lane opposite the lead, it is the lead's responsibility in NFHS 2. I would think we may have a different opinion on that. And Billy Mack is, of course, correct, right? These kind of plays, it's all about getting the call correct. Sometimes we react, and we'll see that in subsequent videos. You see a reaction by the official, right? Again, we're remembering. Let's do this. I'm going to take a risk here. Again, we're remembering Admiral Akbar's warning that it's a trap, and we get into a soft landing spot while we're administering multiple free throws, etc. And sometimes something happens on the court that startles us and sort of awakens us from that momentary slumber, right? That we have to recognize. So oftentimes you'll see very reaction-based moves by officials in these situations. And I'm going to go back to here. An elegant switch there. Okay, fantastic. Windmill never works. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Fantastic. Let's move on to our very next play. All right. So the key here, let's take a look here. Let's bring in the arrow of renown. Right. We're, of course, watching this player here beyond the three-point arc. They, of course, have a restriction that they are not allowed to break the three-point arc, free throw line extended, until the ball contacts the ring, different from players in marked lane spaces. A common problem and a common misconception. Does this player watch NBA games? Probably, right? In the NBA, no such restriction exists. They see a play, they think, hey, I'm going to start doing that so I can go in there and crash, etc. Easy to see why players would be confused about this restriction, or they may be in the same situation as us with the Admiral Akbar admonition, right? They're taking a little mental time off as well. So sometimes we could see brain farts from players as well as officials in these situations. Billy Mack, you are absolutely correct. In two-person, it is hard to... Hey, all right. So this also highlights the fact, here's my feeling, right? In two-person, the trail, or in three-person, the center, this is the biggest workload you have during the game, right? What am I responsible for as the center in three-person or as the trail in two-person? Well, I need to see if the thrower violates. I need to see the players in marked lane spaces that I'm responsible for violate. Interesting. I need to see whether anybody crosses the free throw line prior to the ball contacting the ring, and if there's any contact on the thrower. So now I have to protect my thrower. I'm in two-person. I'm responsible for players behind the arc. I'm responsible to know whether the ball contacted the ring or not as well. I have a long laundry list of things to do. It's very challenging, right? When we get to three-person, we may say, hey, I may say in a pregame, hey, I've got a lot going on as the center official on free throws. Trail, stay engaged. Stay engaged. If we miss something obvious, come in, put a whistle on it. Don't feel like, it's just the two of us officiating that free throw action. And especially help me with an air ball on the opposite side. I have a lot going on as the official in that position. Fred, we'll see in a couple of subsequent videos. You're not alone, right? This is that player comes from out of nowhere. And we're focused on other things. And that focus, we have a lot going on, sometimes makes us miss something that happens right in front of us. Okay. Fantastic. All right, I want to go back. It just dawned on me what Mike Connors was saying. So we could talk about responsibilities. Wait. Okay. Right? Center, or trail in this instance, is responsible for the thrower and these two players opposite. Wait. We can bring the arrow. The official, either center in three-person, trail in two-person, is responsible for the thrower and the two players opposite in terms of whether or not they violate. The lead official is responsible for the nearest player on the lane line and the three opposite. Center or trail has 1 and 2. Lead has 1 and 3. Brain cramp on that. Thank you, Mike, for sorting me out. And of course, in a two-person game, the trail is also responsible for the three players, usually three, for the players beyond the three-point arc and free throw line extended. And we notice this player here in that position, very close to the edge of where they can be by rule, but they're not the player who violates. It's this player here. So thank you, Mike, for jogging my memory. I agree as well. Hey, we're all getting better together. Hey, and that's also, the usual. I always drop at least one brain fart early on in an episode. So, a very straightforward play. We've highlighted the difficulty involved for the official who's officiating the thrower. The many things that are on their plate, you just have to recognize that. And from that position, you especially don't want to take any mental time off. We have to stay engaged. Mike, I'm with you. I'm with you. Absolutely. So Billy Mack, well, sometimes the officials, absolutely, they are at the starting line behind the three-point arc. And what I will usually do in that instance is, hey guys, I will say to them, wait till it hits. Of course, you're at risk of communicating to players in the lane, but you can also, sometimes they will do that on the first of multiple free throws as well. Okay, so we're going to riff off that. That's play number 2, but we're going to riff off that and look at a couple of similar plays. All right, similar play. Teammate of the thrower, right, gets to the edge of the three-point line. Try is released. They cross the line. Violation is ruled. And the calling official points to the sideline for a resulting throw-in. Right, this is how this play should be adjudicated correctly. In this instance, the official got it right. Sideline throw-in, would that be right? Spot nearest the violation? Yeah, so it's a funky situation. Almost always free throw violations are going to go to the end line. In this instance, since it's outside the semicircle and yet not below the line from the edge of the elbow to the corner, it is a sideline throw-in. Easy to see this not being a big deal in this instance. But this is the same play, correctly adjudicated. Teammate of the thrower violates. Same play, correctly adjudicated. Teammate of the thrower violates. Sideline throw-in for the violation. Mike, I agree, obviously. So a lot of these clips are my clips, right? And in most of them, I think I'm the lead, just bouncing the ball. Excellent technique, bouncing the ball to the thrower. Easy peasy mac and cheesy. I like that better. I like it. I like it. Right? These are straightforward plays. Nothing funky, nothing to unravel, just the basics, right? Let's look at something, a similar play here.
Way to go! Way to go!
right? Teammate of the thrower. We're getting ready. We're in the final minute of a game. This game is decided. It's 64-51, under a minute to go. Home team is ahead. So, as always, we can take something from almost every video clip. This is a 3-person game. This is our center official. They're in great position. They're focusing on what they should be focusing on. We would leave to our trail the player up here. Right, our player who violates up here, that would be the trail's responsibility. But let's also think about the game situation, right? You know, we get into an end of game situation, under a minute to go. We're talking as a crew, what are we saying? Do not miss anything on white, right? We don't have to find things on white, but don't want to miss anything on white. We don't want to give our losing coach any ammunition to come at the crew and create any sort of environment, right? If there's something on white and they're ahead by 13 points under a minute, let's make sure not to miss it, right? So that also comes into play on this play. But the trail should have been involved here. Maybe the trail was at the division line. Don't have it on this play. And so Billy Mack jumps in, and exactly right, as his previous comment. The player is telling you they are about to go, right? The way that they start to lean, etc. If we pick up on those cues, right, center's not responsible for that action. Could the center put a whistle on the play? Absolutely. Could the lead put a whistle on the play? Yeah, potentially, but yeah. I have a tale about that not proud of. Not proud of. Okay. So, another simple scenario. Something to take from it. Let's move on to another. Oh, that's wrong. That's wrong. Don't know why that showed up there. Right? So another scenario where the exact same thing happens. Just need to be aware of that. You know, seeing the plays helps us. When the players tell us, "Hey, I'm about to go," with their energy, with the way they lean, the way they anticipate, etc. Right? We can prevent things like that. We can ward it off by just reminding them, "Hey, take a moment." All right, remind them, "Hey, wait till it hits. Back here, we got to wait till it hits." We can talk to them, etc. So really straightforward. And as Jason points out as well, these type of plays are easy to get a look at a player's intentions. They will usually tell you if they're going to run in or not. Yeah, sometimes they fool you, right? But oftentimes they will give us a heads up. Possibly. Okay, so we've had 4 plays involving players beyond the arc. Very straightforward. The rules and restrictions. The players beyond the arc, free throw line extended, must wait until the ball contacts the ring, not the backboard, the ring, before it goes in the basket before they can cross. Simple, straightforward. We see it, we understand it, we can move forward. If the violation is by the teammate of the thrower, the free throw is canceled, and we would go to what happens next. If it's by an opponent of the thrower, which we didn't have in these situations, I think all were teammates of the thrower. But if we have an opponent of the thrower, of course, we'd have a delayed lane violation, and a substitute free throw would be awarded. And if we have violations by both teams, both players run in, matters not who goes first, who goes second, both players violate. It's a simultaneous violation. The free throw is canceled by rule, and we would go to what happens next. If whether it's an AP throw-in or a second or multiple free throws. All right. Al says most basic rule violations are because coaches don't teach or assume that the players know. You know, it's funny. You ever attend a high school practice, right? There's all kinds of things that are going on that are violation. You know, the footwork, etc., the screening, etc. And there's very little attention paid to legality. It's eye-opening. Yep. Yep. We would expect coaches to teach, players to be aware. You could say that is a role that we can, especially when we're working lower level games, etc. That's a role that we can play in helping to educate players. We can catch them during a dead ball, etc. I embrace that. I embrace helping communicate rules and restrictions with stakeholders in the game, be it the players, the coaches, the administrators, just people close to the game, and guiding them towards a better understanding of the rules and the philosophy that they should have a better understanding of the rules. Now, at the same time, inconsistently applied at the high school level, especially during for lower level games, sub-varsity games, we can expect rules to be inconsistently applied. And that's a factor when it comes to players and coaches, the stakeholders in the game. This player may say, I've done that every game this season, and you're the first ref to call it. Wouldn't expect that in this situation, but that may be their perspective. I've never known. I've always done it, right? And they've never received that education. Coup de boo. Dub, they have the great angle. They always have sometimes they do have a better angle than us. But Al, I love that. I love that. Middle school, I am a rule mentor. High school, I am a rule enforcer. That's a great articulation of that thought. Of helping communicate with players. All right, let's move on to play number 3. Right, so we're doing kind of a grouping. We got play number 1, play number 2 with a few variations, and now let's move on to play number 3. Okay, so a couple of years ago into Rule 9-1, a clause was added making it a violation for an opponent of the thrower to cross the free throw line before the ball contacts the ring in an effort to protect vulnerable free throw shooters. Only, of course, adding to the responsibility of, this is a center official in a 3-person game, only adding to that responsibility and leading to situations where we could have a displacement foul, as that became a point of emphasis, protecting that free throw shooter, layered on top of a possible violation, which adds complexity to the play. So this was an NCAA women's rules game. At that time, this point of emphasis was not in place, or the rules restriction on the free throw line. I think subsequently that has been brought in. NCAA women says, hey, we want to protect free throw shooters as well. And this has become a point of emphasis on that side. But what we have here is a 2-part process. By crossing the free throw line, our opponent of the thrower has committed a violation by rule in National Federation of High School Basketball rules. This should be a delayed violation. In addition, we need to evaluate the contact. If the contact is incidental, then we have no call. If we have displacement, then there is a foul, and we would need to adjudicate this play. So this play is obviously the last of multiple free throws, and we could take a moment. To see how would we properly adjudicate this play in National Federation of High School rules. So we have an opponent of the thrower violate and then commit a foul. That's the premise we're going under. What happens next? And the free throw misses. What happens next? Since it was a delayed violation, a substitute free throw will be awarded. After that, we will enforce the foul. The penalty for the foul will either be bonus free throws or the ball out of bounds nearest the spot of the foul. So we're either going to have we're going to have bonus free throws or an end line throw-in. In either case, what we do is we clear the lane. In either case, what we do is we clear the lane, have the player shoot their substitute free throw, and then enforce the foul. This can lead to a lot of confusion. It can lead to uncertainty. If we've snapped out of our momentary haze, this could present a problem. So it's great to see these plays and anticipate, well, okay, if we have this, how are we going to properly adjudicate? We are going to award a substitute free throw for the delayed violation, and then we are going to enforce the foul. What is the enforcement of that foul? We know that. Okay, partner, hey, we're going to shoot the substitute with the lane cleared, and then we're going to go end line for the resulting throw-in, or we're going to shoot bonus free throws after that with the lane filled. Okay? Great to think these play scenarios through in advance, so when they occur, we are dynamic, clear, making statements, and getting things right as a crew. Okay, but before we go, let's recognize this is second half action, okay? That's just something to keep in mind when we see a subsequent play. Second half action. Okay, so it's great to think these plays through in advance so that when they occur in our game, we've mentally gone through the exercise. Because you may not have this. This may not occur in your game once a year, once every 2 years, hopefully not several times in a week. But we don't necessarily get a lot of reps. We have to recognize it for what it is. Mike Connors thinks this is more common in girls' games. I think you may be right. I think I agree with that opinion. Let's put it that way. That's been my experience. Okay, fantastic. So Jason Hayes is on the call. He actually has 2 plays like this that did not get into the video. And just a heads up, when we have our better technology in place starting next week, I'd be able to say, hey, let's look at that play. I don't have to have it preloaded, etc. So we'll have more versatility. But he has 2 of the same play. First one he got wrong, learned from it. Second one, 100% nailed it. So we don't see these plays often. We don't have reps, right? If we have reps, we're really good. Oh, this is what we do. We do this, 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 and then this. We don't have reps. We have to think, process. It's hard. It's hard. Not happy with that. When I have to think on the court, or I'm unsure, or just have to go through the process. And Al points out, of course, that the players only need to be legal, which would be behind the three-point arc and free throw line extended. Billy Mack with the history lesson. Excellent. Ronald Carson is in the house, jumping in the chat. Okay, wants a clarification on the delayed action. Okay, why is this a delayed lane violation? The ball has yet to hit the ring. The the opponent of the thrower in the third marked lane space has crossed the free throw line before the ball contacts the ring. Just like a player from behind the arc crossing, if the opponent of the thrower from behind the arc crosses the three-point line prior, or the free throw shooter crosses the free throw line prior to the ball contacting the ring, this is a delayed violation on the opponent of the thrower. As a delayed violation, if the ball goes in, we ignore the violation. If the ball misses, we enforce the violation. Hope that helps, Ronald. Appreciate you jumping in the chat. You have a question? Put it in the chat. Delayed because this is defensive? Correct, correct. You are welcome, Ronald. Protect the shooter, right? That would be one of my number one counsels to young officials is protect shooters, protect dribblers, right? If we make that a focus, our game is better. We are better officials. Protect shooters is why these rules. So we also understand, we know the rule. What is the purpose and intent of the rule? We want to protect, vulnerable throwers. You see it on this play, right? Watch the thrower. They are in a vulnerable position. They are relaxed. They are extended, right? They are not expecting contact, etc. That's why we get this displacement. We get those, if the contact is down low, we're talking about possible knee contact, etc. Contact with a knee, which would be dangerous, right? All right, fantastic. So we've seen that. That's our baseline play. Let's look at a couple of variations on that play. Go back. All right, we've seen that play. Let's look at a couple of variations on the same play. Right, so this is the same game. This is first half action. Okay, so let's think this through. It's the same defensive player with that action. If we see this, let's say we see this early in a game, our brain doesn't make it happen. After the fact, I realized we probably should have had a violation on that play. But let's just recognize we need to know as a crew that this is a behavior that this player may exhibit. We have a couple of options. We can go to that player and say, hey, right, on that free throw you did this thing, don't do that again, etc. We can talk to them directly. Hey, coach, players are not allowed to this, that, and the other thing. We could use preventative at the appropriate dead ball. We're not necessarily going to stop the game because we missed it the first time. But along the game starts, game is being played, players exhibit behaviors, right? Sometimes they rise to the level of something illegal or illegal contact. Sometimes they are just short of that. But they're telling us, they're giving us clues, just like with previous players beyond the arc who, lean forward. They're giving us clues about what they may do in the future, right? And we want to take all that information in so that we can be better in anticipating what might happen next. Not anticipating what we're going to call, but anticipating what may happen, what players' behaviors may exhibit. Gives us a chance to remind, hey, as a crew, on free throws, let's be alert, let's be aware. Crossing the line is a possible violation, and also displacement, right? We get that as a crew, we're more focused for the next play. There we go. So that play occurred in the first half, right? This is NCAA women's, right? So we're not going to have a call on that play. But if this happens in our game, Like, let's say I'm the lead on this play. Am I? Let's say I'm the lead on this play. And I think I saw what I think I saw. I'm not necessarily, unless that player, knocked the other player to the floor as lead, I'm not going to come and say, hey, we have a whistle on that play. But I may note that that activity occurred, and that's something we need to be aware of as a crew. Next dead ball, chance to communicate that. This is first half action, definitely at halftime. Make sure that it has been addressed so that we don't miss something in the second half. Okay. Also, as trail here, the trail might say, that's the responsibility of the center. I'm going to live and die with her call on this, etc. But it's something we need to address and to talk about. Okay. And so that's the other thing we have to do is make a judgment about the contact, whether the contact was a foul or whether the contact was simply contact. When the emphasis in National Federation first came out, there was a lot of misunderstanding. It's just like if you touch a thrower on a throw-in, if you touch the thrower on a free throw after you've violated, then it's a foul. Should it be an intentional foul? Shooting, there's a lot of consternation, right? We just need to judge it on its merits. A violation has occurred. We're going to protect that player. If there's displacement or something that rises to that level, as we'll see in the next example, then that deserves a whistle for a foul. Gussie's joined in. Mike jumping in, live and die unless it's a crew saver. Exactly. If this was a first half play, right? Maybe, and we're the official who's not responsible for the play, then we're going to live and die. Partner, we're going to do that, but we're going to address it so that if it happens again, or if it rises, or if there's any energy, like from the opposing coach on this play. Let's say the home coach says, hey, let's say the visiting coach says, they can't do that. They can't do that. You've got to protect my shooter. Okay, right? So we're on watch. We're on notice now. Okay, you guys missed the call. And, right, it's an important point to me. So our crew needs to know that, and we need to get this play right the next time if it occurs. Awesome. Gus says to put his voice in the conversation. Absolutely. It may happen, Billy Mack. It may happen. He may. He's a show contributor, I'll tell you that much. All right, so let's look at another variation on this very same play. Right. So on this play, on the two previous plays, you could say the player was simply moving in sort of a box out position. On this play, the opponent of the thrower throws her hips into the thrower, right? That's a little different action. That is a seeking them out and making this contact while they're in that vulnerable position. That can affect our judgment about whether a foul should be called as well. So is this a delayed violation? I'm going to move this guy. Yeah, it is. Let's see. Let's do this. Ball has not contacted. The player has broken the plane, which I would say is the spirit and intent of the rule, and created illegal contact, and the ball is missed. It's the last of multiple free throws. Yeah, so this is an interesting play because of the actions of the opponent, of the thrower. The displacement itself was, comparable to the other ones, to the other plays that we've seen. But the actions of the thrower may influence our decision about whether or not to put a whistle for a foul on the play. So Al jumps in. This is close, but she did seek the shooter, so violation and a foul. Right, because this kind of behavior, right? What are we talking about here? Let's take a look. This is first half action. So this kind of behavior early in the game, if we address it, we have a better game. If we don't address it, we could see this accelerate. So we all, it's always, many things are going to go into our decision on a play like this. There's going to be a lot of factors, but we could see this definitely as a cleanup situation. This occurs in the first period. We get it. We will not have this the rest of the game, right? We would hope that we've done that with our call on this play. This is the fourth period with 25 seconds to go. Maybe we can't have that same impact, right? So these are things to think about. You may want to be pure and say, if it's a foul in the first period, it's a foul in the fourth period. And that is fantastic. You can take that, be consistent with that. As long as you're consistent as a crew and ride with that, that's all good. We know that National Federation of High School would say, we love you for that. But that's something we just need to understand. Gabe Lopez in the house. This is the first half play. Judging by where the benches are, it could help set the tone, especially in a girls' game, which are inherently more aggressive. Exactly. We can, if we have bad screening in the first half, we put a whistle on it, the screening improves. Again, this is what we would expect, right? With a process of coaches recognizing, talking to their players more. Sometimes we can put all the whistles we want and things don't improve. But from experience, we know that if we address things early, if we address hand checking early, if we address illegal screens early, if we address behaviors during rebounding action early, then we expect things to improve and make our games better. Something we gain from experience, knowing that if we do that, we get that result. Gabe, thanks for joining the chat. Glad to see you. Yeah, Billy, all three officials on this game were NCAA women's officials. This is a playoff game. And the crew struggled with National Federation of High School Mechanics. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, so Mike is very straightforward. It's like, if it's displacement, it's a foul, right? And so I may be more nuanced, right? So if Mike and I are working a game together, this brings up a great opportunity to discuss that. We have two officials who have maybe a different view of the world on the court. We're going to go officiate this game. We cannot be on an island. Well, Mike called everything pure and Greg called everything nuanced. We have to find how we're going to officiate as a crew in this game. We have to have that consistency. So that may mean some give and take. So Greg is more like, if it's close, I'm going to be nuanced. Maybe I'm going to be nuanced, but if it's close, unless it's obviously potentially something we can let go, then we need to put a whistle on it. And maybe Mike can make that same adjustment and say, okay, I'm not going to try not to be so pure, but, so we can achieve that consistency as a crew. It's a great lesson. We have to have that in a crew environment. We cannot say, I'm going to call the game this way. You guys, I don't care. You do what you want. And okay, fine. I'm going to call it this way. I'm not calling that traveling. And that is a travel. I'm going to call it every time, right? we need to be nuanced. We need to be able, or actually what we need to do is be flexible and say, okay, how can we be consistent as a crew tonight? Now, the world would say, oh, we want all officials in every game at every level to be consistent in high school basketball. We want that homogeneous approach. That is not going to happen in National Federation of High School. It's too diverse. You have officials of all different levels, play at all different levels, etc. We want to be consistent as an association. Oh, the association, we want this called this way every single time. But again, it's very difficult to get that consistency in a high school association environment. Okay? But what we can say is tonight on this game, our crew is going to have that consistency. And that means that I may have to come down a little bit and Mike may have to come up, or vice versa. Mike may need to come down and Greg needs to come up, but we have to find that and be working towards that, right? In order to have the best success as a crew and put the game ahead of the crew, ahead of ourselves, right? Ourselves have to recognize, I need to give a little bit. I need to modulate a little bit so that we can be better as a crew. It's more important that the crew is successful than I'm doing things the way Greg wants to do it, right? Does that make sense? So a great offshoot of the chat in that play. And Mike, I'd love to work a game with you. Billy Mack, first, second half really affects coaches seeing illegal screens. Hey, so always in my pregame, let's not miss an illegal screen in the first half. Who does it occur right in front of? The coach. He sees it. He'll see it every time. A coach in the first half will always see that illegal screen. So we can clean that up early. We're in good shape. Les agrees about the hip. The hip is the key. Awesome. Gabe Lopez. It is a point of emphasis, or has, well, it was, right? Whenever there's a point of emphasis, it's always either it is or it was, right? Points of emphasis come in. NFHS says, hey, we're getting too much of this behavior. We want to make this a point of emphasis, right? Guarding, screening, throw-ins, timeouts without team control, these kind of things. This is an area of focus, okay? There may be rules changes related to it, but it may be fleeting, okay? That's something we have to be aware of. It was a point of emphasis. Officials did work on it. The next year, there's new points of emphasis, right? There's been no rules changes. You know, it used to, remember the teams come out of the tunnel and they are not allowed to encircle the opponent? That was a point, that was like a point of emphasis that like took so much pregame attention. Oh wait, are they coming? Okay, we have to like cut them off at the pass. And now it's just not a thing, right? It's just not important. So we just have to recognize that points of emphasis come and go. They come and go. All right. Okay, we're done with that displacement of the free thrower. Okay, we're done with displacement of the free thrower. Let's move on to our very next play.
First I've seen that. Just fake out everybody. It's like playing Simon Says. Now they're trying to call it a rule. I've never seen such a rule where you can't do a pump fake at a foul shot. So that's the fault of.
I love this play. I love just the basic function of the fake and everybody. Oh wait, White 10 didn't. She held out. Excellent. But everybody just crashes in. So good. So good. So a lot of stuff on this play. Wow. 51-21 is the score in the third period. Okay. So let's just talk about the basics of the play. This is illegal by rule. This is a violation on the free thrower. Free thrower is not allowed to fake the throw. This was obviously a fake. We'll see in some subsequent plays, sometimes there could be confusion. The player may have a hitch in their motion, but a fake is a fake. If in our judgment they faked, that is a violation on the thrower. By rule, we would either give if it's the first, this seems to be the last of free throws, obviously, since the players are entering the lane. So this would be a violation on the throwing team, end line throw in to the opponent, and we would move on. But we have confusion by the crew, right? We don't come to that ruling immediately. There is confusion, right? Admiral Akbar, right? He says maybe this play was taking a play off. You've got the calling official over here as trail, right? Made their call. Maybe they're thinking about their call. They're thinking about 51-21. They're thinking about post-game meal. They're thinking about, that coach. Are we going to put up with this, etc. But potentially disengage from the game. This should be a violation by rule. Now, the two officials who are responsible essentially for officiating the play, the center and the lead, get together. There's a discussion. They're talking about, we're going to do a redo, maybe, I don't know why. I don't know what the justification would be. We're saying that the opponent violated, right? The players are saying, but she did this, right? So that little voice needs to go off in our head. It says, wait a minute. Are we doing this right? Okay? Even if that means we're going to slow down, we're going to go to our calling official and just say, what do we have? What do you have on this play? Maybe we say, hey, mea culpa. I was distracted by something else. What do we have on this play? And get them to talk it through. We give them a chance to slow down. Maybe we give them a chance for us to get the play right as a crew. Okay? So always listen to that little voice that says, wait a minute, we may be screwing this up. If we have that voice that says, wait a minute, we may be screwing up, act on it. Don't get back to the locker room and said, you know what? I had a little voice saying we may be screwing it up, and we screwed it up. Respond to that voice. Doesn't mean we're going to get the play right, but at least gives us a chance to slow down, think things through, do the processing, and do all the things. As always, when we confer on the court, we want to have open to the court, right? We can officiate. We're going to communicate, over our shoulder a little bit to each other. Be open to players, open to benches as much as possible, as appropriate. We have a third official here, but especially in a two-person game, that's our default get-together, not, face-to-face where we're not aware and observant of players as well. So that's a great takeaway from this as well. Also, note the head nod, right? We're conferring. At the end of the conference, we want to do this. We want that as a crew. Okay, I understand. I have what you have. But I think in the end, we screwed it up. I don't think we fixed it. I think we awarded another free throw. I don't recall the rationale for why we did, but we did. We screwed it up. Got the play wrong. All right, I love it. I love the clip. I love the fake. I love the players crashing. I love the response to the little voice that said, wait a minute, right? We need clarity. We need to fix. Slow down. I love the body language of the officials, opened up to players, but in the end, all that went for naught, and we got it wrong. Mike, I do not know what the official had on this play. I really don't recall. This is probably 7 years ago, and I just don't recall. Billy Mack, no way she gets another shot. Absolutely. Atypical play, right? Atypical. Now, we are talking 51-21. This game is going a certain way. Our urgency to, yeah, that's maybe a factor on the play. I can't tell you. I can't tell you. Yeah, Danny's following that. That would not be the determination. Hey, wait a minute. They're down 30. They're getting crushed. Let's just do it this way. That would not be the determination, but that may be a reason why we didn't come together as all three officials on the play. Always, Billy Mack, always listen to Jiminy Cricket. Okay. So a great example of a player faking on a free throw as the thrower faking. Let's take a look at another play that's very similar. Let's go back. Hey, ref. Get out the way. So this player has a funky hitch in their free throw motion, right? They bounce and then they sort of flex their knees and go. And the player in the marked lane space is fooled by that and enters early. That would be a delayed violation by rule. You could judge that this player faked. Maybe you've seen them shoot free throws before and this is not their free throw motion, right? If we have that context, it could become easier. You could see how this is just that player's pre-shot routine. So if that's the case, even if it's funky, right? Even if there's a hitch, even if it fools the opponent, the responsibility is on the opponent. And this would not be a violation on the thrower. It would be a delayed violation on the opponent of the thrower. That's a judgment that we have to make. Is this the habitual shooting motion of that player? Is this the habitual shooting motion of that player? If so, it's a legal play, even if it seems possibly confusing, and the responsibility lies on the opponent of the thrower not to violate. So in this instance, this is a delayed violation on gold 22. Awesome. All right. This is a high school all-star game scenario. Danny reads the teammates of the thrower, even though it was an all-star game, but maybe they, through the process of practicing, became familiar. Billy Mack, that's his natural motion. Yeah. So now you are the offended coach. Your player has been a violation has been ruled on your player, and they get a replacement. And let's say it missed, and they're like they may have some feelings about the fact that the player's motion was deceptive, right? We would just work it through. Coach, that I have that as his natural shooting motion. Yes, I could see why it's be confusing. Yeah, but by rule, your player has the responsibility, right? We could talk them through the process. All right. All right. Now, okay. Now we've had two straightforward situations. Let's look at another similar situation now. Wow. So that was a nice long clip. A lot of stuff going on. Here's our play. The thrower seems to be actually responding to that initial like hitch by the player in the marked lane space, which is a legal move. What do we have on this play? That's got to be a violation on the thrower. So this is a confusing, potentially confusing scenario. There's a lot of moving parts, it seems, but we have our thrower who stops their free throw motion. What do we have on this play? Danny, we'll get to that. Oh, Mike Goodwin, everybody's on it, the crew behavior. That's the previous play. Yeah, so I have the shooter. I have Mike's got simultaneous violation on the two players in marked lane spaces, which would mean that the free throw is canceled if we have a simultaneous violation. Right? So let's go back. Okay, so first point, players are allowed to move in and out of marked lane spaces during free throws. Very straightforward. It's going to happen. Sometimes there can be confusion. Player thinks they're supposed to be in, they're in the wrong spot, etc. Right? As officials, we want to administer the game. We don't want any surprises. We don't want any gotcha, right? We want to let the players get to where they need to get to, and the crew does that in this instance. What happens next? Right, so we get that step by the player in the marked lane space, legal. They are within the marked lane spaces. We have two players contacting each other, right? Their shoulders are in contact, legal. We got the player in white anticipating the release, breaks the plane. You could say violation white. But then don't we also have a violation on the thrower for the fake? Interesting. Interesting. So let's also address what everybody else notes on this play as well is the crew behavior. Okay, first of all, trail official comes in and says, he's listening. He's listening. I think we're screwing this up. What do we have? Is there confusion? Am I confused? If I'm confused, maybe the stakeholders are confused. Maybe, it hasn't been made clear what the ruling is. Okay? So trail comes in, which is great, and we'll get the crew together. It's going to be a brief conference, right? We make a strategic decision about where we're going to have the conference, but you can see the energy from the officials is all pointing towards each other. In this instance, we need to be aware of the action of the players. Okay? If we look at the players while we're in the conference, are the players in close proximity? Are they, able to speak to each other? Right? So we have white wants to huddle up, which is all good. You have to know the temperature of the game that you're working, etc. Maybe you feel confident in this, but is there an opportunity? Is there an opportunity for something untoward to happen in this environment and us as a crew not to be aware of it, right? So what we want to do is just have habits that reduce the opportunity for something to happen. If we have this conversation as three officials in close proximity talking to each other like this, that's great. If the players have been sent to their benches, or if we had that same setup, but we went across the court and did it over here and did it in a more open fashion where we could observe players. Again, we want to have a quick conference here. We don't want to slow the game down and unnecessarily. But in the end, we didn't spend enough time slowing the game down, depending on what you think the ruling on the play should be. So we have clarity. We're going to move forward. We're going to reward a replacement free throw. So the call would be violation by white. Okay? And if we see on the play, white does violate. He's followed by the opponent. Okay? In that instance, we disregard the action of the opponent who was following the first player who violated. So the correct ruling on this play would be, and you could say, okay, but my thrower was distracted by the player entering early. So we're going to ignore their violation on the play as well. And so we end up with a free throw violation on white and reward a substitute free throw. So that's a great play scenario because there's a lot going on. Again, we see the habits of the officials, which is really critical. Anytime we analyze our game video, did we open a door to possible trouble by some behavior that we exhibited? We turned and looked at the ball, right? Not observing players. We huddled together and didn't observe players, etc. We want to find those, identify those. We may be able to say, yeah, but in that situation, there was this, this, this. But we want to recognize them and improve them for the future. Mike says that doesn't give the shooter license to fake. You could talk me into that. Yeah, we all like the huddle. We don't like the fact that it didn't observe the players. Gabe, can you flesh out that rule 9-1-3 section D? In the future, I'll be able to have the rules book online here as well. And Gabe, you're going offsetting, or you're going simultaneous violations, canceling the try based on the player in the marked lane space and the thrower? We definitely had a violation on the player in the marked lane space. Mr. Rideau. I'm going Rideau. The same as when a player travels after he thinks he's gotten fouled. The Zooch has distraction. Danny, I agree. I think common sense does come into play here. The shooter stops his shot because he was distracted. He really was. I mean, it was obvious. I mean, he's like, hey, he did that, right? And distraction doesn't, can manifest itself in different ways. One is, hey, he did that. The other is just some subtle action where they look away, etc. And again, it's all judgment. So it's a fun play. It's a fun play for the chaos involved. It's a fun play to see the officials, how they approached it. Love the trail coming in and saying, what do we have? Just listening to the voice. Listening to the voice, slowing things down, making sure we have an understanding of what we have. Whether the ruling is correct or incorrect, right? We just give everybody an opportunity to slow down, process, and have better opportunity to get the play right. Love it. Love it. Okay, what's on the agenda? Oh, okay. All right. So we've had a great look at plays. Let's look at a bonus play. Love it. Love it. So Billy Mack sent the clip. You've probably seen it. This is like the only known video of a player goaltending a free throw and has an incredible backstory, right? So we have a goaltend on a free throw. What is the correct ruling? We're going to score the goal, 1-point goal. It is a player technical on the player who goaltended during a free throw. We would award 2 free throws to the team, to any teammate, any player or eligible substitute, followed by a division line throw in opposite the table. That's in National Federation of High School rules. So this play actually has a great backstory. The coach yells out, right? Watch this right here. The coach yells out, goaltend it, right? On purpose. Because remember, NCAA men do things a little bit differently. There's going to be the administration of a technical foul, but the clock will not run and the team will get the ball at on the end line, the result of the free throw on the end line running, and they have 1.2 seconds and a chance to tie the score. That, of course, assumed that the player missed the technical foul free throws, so it was their only chance to possibly win, and they chose that as a strategic decision. So that backstory makes it really interesting. But yeah, so just so an interesting play. Is this ever going to happen in your game? We don't think so. The odds are against. The odds are against. Danny, the coach loses his credibility from him from then on, but it was his only chance to win. It was a strategic decision within the rules. I mean, they certainly have that. Knowing what happens next gave him a chance to win, right? It's just like take fouls when you're not in the bonus as a way to exhaust. Let's say the opponent is down by 1. There's 8 seconds left, but you have only 2 team fouls. And sure, your strategy is to foul the opponent and exhaust clock. Maybe we take off 1 second, then another second, then another second, and then they have less time with which to try tie the score. It's a tactic within the rules for them to do. Tax loophole. I think that's a great way to put it. Right, and obviously goaltending is different than basket interference. Basket interference, we would score the goal, but there is no penalty. Maybe that would have been a better approach in this instance. Count the free throw. Don't know what that is. Awesome. Coach, I can't. Awesome. All right. So that's a fun play. Interesting play. Gets into a small little corner of the rules, which is always fun to have an explore in that situation. But now let's move on to a play that's a lot more fun. I cannot help it. I've seen this clip at least 100 times, and every single time it cracks me up. It's so her commitment to stay with it. No hands down. I'm going all the way, coach. All the way. Oh, so phenomenal. So what do we have on the play? We have the ball at the disposal of the thrower. Prior to the release, an opponent of the thrower violates, and the thrower misses the free throw. Love it. So simple play, a straightforward play. If there had been a violation by the thrower, such as an air ball, it would not be a simultaneous. I mean, obviously, this is a real extreme example, although it's inadvertent, of distraction occurring. If you're not distracted by the actual player who falls into the lane, you're at least distracted by everybody on the lane cracking up audibly around you, right? So we're going to award a replacement throw. If there was a violation by the thrower, we would rule distraction and not have a simultaneous violation on the play. So it cracks me up. That's all I can say is it cracks me up. Oh, tremendous. All right. Let's go back there. Dub, that is. Much respect. Much respect. You got to respect the dedication. They went for it. Mike, I think I could send you a link. I could send you a link. Oh my goodness. Billy Mack with the historical reference. At one time in the past, falling into the lane without feet violating was legal. You could have a designed play where we have one player from this side and one player from this side. You know, basically do a burpee. They drop down into the lane simultaneously while the thrower is about to release. Oh my goodness. It is hysterical laugh, but here's the thing. That's one of the things about the game that makes things so fun is sometimes as a gymnasium full of people, you celebrate something. You celebrate the rendition of the national anthem. You celebrate the player, the end of the bench, the 30-30 player, the end of the bench player who enters the game and their teammates are all trying to get them the ball. They are a team member. They're trying to get them the ball. And then when they score, the entire bench just goes crazy. You know, they know that player is maybe not the strongest player on the team, but they got their chance and they scored. And that energy is really exciting and a great part of the game. And of course, there's always a situation where we have a team manager who suits up for the final game, or a player with special needs, or somebody associated with the team with special needs who gets to suit up and gets to score, and just the place goes crazy, and the overall energy of the gym is so fantastic. It's really a great part of officiating high school basketball. So we're going to celebrate this moment as a group, and it's a funny moment. Okay. Yes. Tremendous. Okay, let me do a quick wrap of the show, and then we'll be back for further discussion. All right, so we've looked at plays today on free throws scenarios, talked about the things that happen around them, gotten better as basketball officials, and gotten better together. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. Now would be a great time to do all the things, wouldn't it? Now would be a great time to do all the things. Hit like, subscribe, notify, and share the video with other basketball officials who could find value. That way, we get more officials into the conversation, and we can all get better together. Have to give a shout out to our fantastic show supporters, Yvette Perry, Jim Kane, Chris Williams, Jeff Jewett, and Jason Hayes. Much appreciated and much love. You can always buy us a coffee, and there'll be a link above and in the show notes below. Fantastic. The other videos in the series are available here. We have the Masterclass and the Basketball Rules Expert full series. We'll see you in the next video. Take care. Okay, wrapped it up. Awesome. Gussie, take a bow. Take a bow. I'd love to see it. Love to see it. It'll be funny to. We'll do an interview with that player. Awesome. Okay. Wow. A little over 90 minutes. a lot of content for me to edit down. Should make a great 5-Play Friday on the final version. The basketball rules expert episode on Wednesday will be out soon, more concise. So what do you think of these packages of masterclass basketball rules expert video? It seems like a good package for training. A young official can go and sort of, because it's different methods of training as well. The visual is always important. The text base is important, but it's not everybody's strength. And of course, just an overview in the masterclass. It seems logical to me as a great way to present on a single topic, and it helps me in terms of the live streams of having a focus and a topic to present to. Again, I'm super excited for the future. The new technology that we'll have in place, like that presentation, the masterclass and the correctable error, were both absolute sausage making. I think we can do much better. Just do a straight up, presentation with animations and things like that. And so that's coming, and I'm super excited about it. And I appreciate everybody joining me on my journey as I struggle through the process of doing this. But we end up producing great content, having a great conversation. Before I go, though, hold on. I got a super chat from Jason Hayes. Much appreciated and much love, Jason. I'm sorry your free throw videos didn't make it into the video, but I always appreciate your continued support. And it's really important to me, and I am greatly appreciative of it. All right, Danny's in the house going into the third year and is super helpful, especially in the off season. Great, and it's always there. We need a refresher. Just need to had a place in there. We need a refresher. If we could spend like an hour watching this series of videos, or just pick out a couple of parts. I think it's a great training tool, and I'm excited about it. Okay. Whew. I'm kind of tired, and I got to go to work. So, all right. So I am going to wrap up the live stream. I really appreciate everybody joining today. I love the voices in the chat. I love the discussion. I love the new people on the chat. In the future, once we nail things down, I'll publicize a little bit more. I've been laying kind of low. Definitely available to YouTube subscribers who are notified, etc. But haven't been, pushing too hard on the publicity front. But we'll get more people in the chat, and we can all get better together. All right. Have a great day, everybody. And of course, you can always ensure that it's going to be a great day if you do something for someone else they couldn't possibly repay. Peace out, everybody. Appreciate you joining, and we'll see you in the next one.